All right, Pops, earlier this year, BMW wanted to charge us a subscription for heated seats. We've also had Toyota. They made a mistake, they said, when you had to subscribe to remote start your vehicle. Now, Dad, Audi coming out, one of their more recent press releases and talking to the public, saying, you know what, we're really excited, folks. Not about our cars, but about our microtransactions, making sure that you can subscribe to any and every action you want to take in your vehicle. I know this really grinds your gears. What's your take on this? Audi coming out and saying they will paywall more software features in 2024.
Apparently, Audi hasn't paid any attention to what has gone on in the industry with other automobile manufacturers who have tried to do just that. The pushback, the blowback, the customer regrets for having dealt with the company in the first place. It's just staggering the amount of pushback there has been for these things. To the point where even in the state of New Jersey, there were a couple senators that wanted to introduce a bill that would ban software paywalls in automobiles. So I don't know exactly what Audi's thinking. I know everybody thinks that there's money to be made with these software charges, but whatever goodwill you might have as a manufacturer with your customer is lost when they suddenly can no longer access a feature that they had been accessing because something will come up on their entertainment center that says, well, if you'd like to utilize that feature, that'll be $9.99 a month or $14.99 a month, or well, maybe you want to pay it for the year, so we'll only charge you $144 for the year. And that's what's going to happen. And manufacturers are going to lose whatever goodwill they've established with their customer when suddenly the customer realizes, well, I thought I paid for it all, but now I get to pay monthly too?
All right, Dad, this comes from one of the senior leaders at Audi. Quote, with our next generation of electronic architecture, we will bring more offers, quote, to function on demand, and you will see year by year we will bring new functions in the cars, Hoffman told the outlet, claiming it's a response to customer demand. Quote, this is a big step. Yeah, you cracked me up. I think there is a demand from the customer to bring new functions in the car, and this is a profit pool for us, but we don't see these revenue pools with this kind of functionality. I have no clue. Who has ever woken up, gone to an OEM focus group and said, you know what I really want to do? I want to pay extra to have, different colored ambient lighting. Like, what? What?
This is in response to customer demand. There isn't a customer in their right mind that is demanding that, well, I know the stuff's already in the car, and I know I already paid for the car, but I'd really like if you'd ask me to subscribe so that I could pay X amount of dollars per month to act. No, there's no customer demand for that. Now, it might get to the point where one day you go out and you start your Audi and they go, before you put it in reverse, you might want to consider the functionality of your steering wheel. Now, the steering wheel functionality will only be $19.99 a month. That's not. Hey, you want to be headed in the right direction. You want to be able to take corrective action if you need to. You're probably going to need that steer. What's $240 a year so you can actually steer the damn thing?
Okay, and what's kind of hilarious, because obviously no one would ever do that, right? But then Mercedes earlier this year came out and they did a subscription so you can get more horsepower. So not too far-fetched. You want to pass that car on the on-ramp to the highway? Well, you got to subscribe. Can I do it right as I'm trying to pass the vehicle? Yeah. Can you just hey, Mercedes, I want to upgrade so I can pass this? I mean, what you just said is dystopian hell, right? We should never get there. And then there's already an example that's pretty doggone close to it. It's literally the horsepower in a vehicle tied to a subscription that you can turn off and on. That is effed up, man.
There is software built into those Audis that, will help park the car. I have that in my Mini, okay? I paid for it. It's in the Mini. I can utilize it anytime I want. Guess what? If you bought the Audi and it's in the Audi already, it's there. They just want to charge you extra after you bought it to be able to utilize it. Well, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard of. I mean, don't put it in the car in the first place. Because if it's in the car and I already paid for the car, I don't think I should have to pay for it again to be able to utilize it.
That was the blowback that Toyota got with their remote start issues. So all these people for years, I think it was 2 years by default, they were like opted into a program that gave them remote start.
Yes.
And then like on someday, like the 2-year anniversary, it just stopped working. And then Toyota was like, well, you can subscribe to keep it going. Like, what? Yeah. And Toyota came out and they said it was a big mistake. Like that was not how it was intended to function. But that is what happened to thousands of customers. It got a lot of press and it was like, wait, are we really moving this quickly into that direction where, like you're saying, it exists. The functionality obviously exists because they had it for 2 years. Then the anniversary came and then it was removed. Hate the way that looks. That Stellantis has come out and already said they expect $22.5 billion in revenue from software features by 2030. And I will tell you, Dad, the work that we have started doing with car dealers, I've learned so much about the delivery process for different manufacturers. Mm-hmm. One of the things that is critically important for Stellantis and General Motors, they have to do a connected device activity upon delivery. You have to download the app, either the Stellantis app or the GM app or the sub-brand app. And then you have to, in GM products, for example, this is part of like the dealership makes money or they'll lose money if these things don't happen. You have to press the OnStar button and talk to them for 5 minutes. And then in Stellantis, you have to actually take one action in the app or the dealer loses money. Like you have to remote start it or unlock your car from the app. Like this is part of their onboarding experience. And the dealer is held accountable to actually like get these things done or they'll lose money on the deal. So like, here's your future, folks. The freaking OEMs, man. We did the video earlier in the week about raising the prices. We do the videos about them adding subscription features. Like, just freaking make cars, man. Just make cars that don't have recalls. Like, just start there.
The OEMs, the dealer's favorite partner.
No, I mean, speak to that just for a moment. Like, the OEM and the dealer have a terrible relationship because of this crap. Like, hey, dealer, you want to make all that money on the deal? Well, no, you have to make sure the customer downloads an app, unlocks the car. Like, come on, man. Like, that's idiotic.
It is the manufacturer's way of punishing the dealer if they don't utilize all these things so that they can show it to the customer so that the customer might say at some point, yeah, I need to subscribe to this. And it's wrong. It's just, if it's in the car and the customer is paid for it, and it's in the cost of the car, and the customer is paid for it, give it to them. Okay, it's there. They paid for it. Don't make them pay on a monthly basis for it. Okay, you completed the car, you sold the car complete. Allow the customer to utilize the car as a complete entity.
When you go to trade it in, just make sure you cancel your subscriptions first, okay? Because they'll keep billing you, folks.
Oh, absolutely, because they'll be charging your credit card monthly.